Hello and welcome to the YouTube channel of mprugs.com. Hope you and your family are doing well. In today's episode, I'm going to be answering several of your questions that I've received in the last few weeks. As I oftentimes do, I try to incorporate your questions that you have asked me about carpets that you own yourself. And these are typical, actually, these are four questions that are very typical, and these involve silk rugs. They involve wanting to know whether the carpets are machine made. Some of them questions are about signatures and everything. So in this quick Q&A video, I'm going to be answering four of the questions. And again, these are very commonly asked questions. And I'm going to be using this this is pretty much the last generation of Turkish hurricane rugs. This dates back to the mid-90s, late 90s. And the reason that we know this is when you look at the picture of the signature, you will notice this is where the knowledge comes in. We know that this is, by looking at the various pictures, we know that this is a genuine Turkish piece. But we can also tell a lot about signatures because oftentimes little details, such as what in German we call them the umlaut, the dots over the O, the way they are, the way the word Ozipek is written, and also by the fact that the hurricane name is not found on the rug anymore. When you combine everything along with how the silk feels and everything, we can look at a rug and we can tell approximately the era. We can also tell whether it is machine made or handmade, whether it's a Turkish rug or a Chinese made. For example, when you look in the back of here, you can see how, when you look at the picture, if you are not a experienced person, then you are not going to know the difference whether this is Turkish because it has this golden colored edging along the side as well as the bottom, whether this is Chinese or Turkish. So this is where experience comes in. And this is something that myself, my cousin, some of our friends, we're very passionate about. When it comes to the Turkish rugs, especially when it comes to the older ones, a lot of people pretend to know what they're talking about, but there's actually only a few that actually do. And generally speaking, and like I said, I've always said this, I am not trying to make myself sound more than I am. If I don't have answers to the questions, like for example, in this case right here, I'm just going to use a perfect example. The very first question I got, this is from Cliff. He sent me pictures, and again, this is a perfect way to demonstrate to you my vast knowledge and just how amazingly intelligent I am. Keep in mind, I was born and raised in Germany, so the sarcasm has already started. He asked me if I can tell him about the signature of the rug. He also made it a point that it's unusual for him that he has seen on this rug there's a signature at the top and bottom, as you can see here. And he sent me 3 pictures. Now for the signatures, real important, he sent me 1 picture from the front, and then what really saved the day is he's added a second picture of the signature from the back. Now, I mentioned to you earlier how I'm the world's best, most experienced, knowledgeable person when it comes to rugs. Well, I don't know how to read and write that. I have absolutely no clue whether that is a signature or whether that's a recipe for chicken noodle soup. Yes, my parents Persian. I was born and raised in Germany. My dad told me not to get involved in the rug business and not to bother speaking or learning Farsi. So I didn't learn it until, well, I learned how to speak it, but I don't know how to read and write. But Cliff, to answer your question, as I mentioned to you in the email, And this is where my knowledge comes in because I have to rely on others. I asked my cousin and my uncle, I said, guys, do me a favor. Cliff wants to know, what does that say? And it says, as is common with gom rugs. Iran, gom, and the name is Babai. That is a workshop name. That is typical for gom rugs. They have this name of the workshop, not the weaver, but the workshop or the person who contracted to have the rug done. Generally speaking, it is the workshop owner, the business owner. But that is typical, very traditional, but sometimes you actually, it's on the older pieces, we have to look at it from the back. But again, as I mentioned to you earlier, I'm not the sharpest pencil in the box. A lot of these questions, sometimes I can look at it, like I said, 90% of the stuff when it comes to, for example, whether a question is handmade or machine made, I can pretty much tell that. But I'm blessed to be in the family where we have many decades of not only experience, but we also have generations of knowledge. This is what we do, and I am blessed to be in the wholesale district where if I don't have an answer, and I like to learn as much as the next, like I said, as many of you as was, that was easy. Now you're going to see, but also why I love doing what I'm doing here with the channel and everything, and why at times I go on and on and on, simply because I truly enjoy it, and I enjoy learning as much as I am about sharing. And the next question that I got, this is from Tracy. He asked me, he got the silk carpet right here, and he attached 3 pictures of it, wanting to know um, basically whether this is a common rug, whether it's handmade, and he gave me the approximate size, 4 foot by 6 foot, tried to describe it. As he mentioned, it has no sheen like silk, but it feels, but it's an unusual piece. And so as he was asking me, and again, he put 3 pictures, and this is a rug where I thought it could be like a Pakistani Bukhara, or it could be a Turkmen, an Uzbek. I didn't think it was Persian, didn't think it was Indian. Looking at the rug pictures, blowing them up a little bit, and looking at it from the back corner, which is one of the best pictures that you guys can, when you want to ask someone about rugs, that back picture right there, beautiful. We'll talk about it later. But I asked my family. This is where the vast knowledge comes in, not from what I know, but from what others know. I had a suspicion, and as I oftentimes do, I asked my cousin about it, my uncle, and said, look, where would you guys put this rug? And the consensus is that this is a Turkmen. Now, as I've oftentimes do, and this is what I always tell my clients, or the many of you that have asked me questions, number one, I will give you my opinion. Number two, I always make it a point of stating that looking at a rug based on pictures is great and everything, but really you have to have the rug in hand. And so I always tell you that I welcome you to get additional opinions if you have any doubts. And don't take what I tell you as fact. I am merely stating my opinion, and oftentimes the opinion of others. People that I entrust and everything. So in this case, we're pretty sure that it's an Ozbek. That it's a Turkmen. So now this leads me now to this next question, and this is from, and I'm hoping I'm not going to screw this up, Amedeo. He purchased this rug in Kashmir. Came across my website years later. He thanked me for the information and everything. So I'm glad that the videos are help to you. The question that he had was, and this is perfect. He had 2 rugs that he purchased in Kashmir, and he wanted to know if these are handmade or machine made. He gave me the sizes, how much he spent, and all that stuff. And as you can see here, what he did was he watched the video description below, wanted to know my thoughts on the rugs. 4 pictures, and this is absolutely perfect. This is what I would want from you if you were to ask me about the rug that you have. First picture is of the rug. Doesn't have to be a fancy picture, but looking at the picture, it tells me what the design and all that stuff, gives me a general idea for what the rug looks like. The second picture is of the corner, from the front of it, from the top of the rug. Corner, perfect. The second one, the third picture is from the corner back. Again, perfect. This is what we need. If you were to say these 3 pictures, and he included a 4th one of the back with the ruler. Again, that's great. It tells me about the knots and everything, but it's the first 3 pictures that give us all the information that we need. Looking at the pictures, I was able to tell him immediately that it was machine made. And again, I told him to also seek the opinion of others. Because obviously, when he purchased it, he made it a point of stating that he thought they were handmade. He was assured that they were handmade. And obviously, as I told him, looking at the rug, looking at the specifics of it. And again, when you look at the rug and look on the back of it, you see those straight white lines between the knots. Notice how they're perfect? On handmade rugs, you are not going to see the white line going across. You also, when you look at the edge of the rug, you will not see the type of absolute perfection. That is telltale signs of a handmade rug. He also asked, for example, on a follow-up question, whether it's normal for machine-made carpets to have 800, 900 knots per square inch, and I said, yes, absolutely. You can have them, some of the machines typically, and it's not real silk, it's like an artificial silk. But yes, you can have anywhere from 3 to 1,000 knots per square inch, but it's still a machine-made rug, unfortunately. But as I mentioned to him, go get a second opinion if you have any doubts. So lastly, this is a picture. This was also Tracy wanted to know if this Gom rug that he purchased from the 70s is not a Kashmir rug. And actually, reverse it. I'm sorry, my mistake. He wanted to know if the Kashmir rug that he got is actually not a Gom rug. And so when I looked at the rug, I looked at the various pictures. I pointed out to him how we have had similar rugs like it that were actually pure silk Gom rugs. But based on the knots and everything, what he has right there is a beautiful older Indian Kashmir rug. This is our opinion, not Persian, it's Indian, handmade, and like a lot of the Kashmir rugs back in the days, this is silk pile. It's like a bambooish silk. That's one of the reasons why they're able to keep the cost down, and the silk also looks very uniform. But it's and then the cotton, the foundation is a mercerized cotton. It almost feels like silk, very shiny. But this is a perfect example of an older Kashmir rug. And so again, comparing it to, if you look at older Gom rugs from the 60s and 70s, sometimes you will see this design, you will see colors. But It's a beautiful piece. And so, as I mentioned to him, it's Indian. It's a Kashmir. So I thought I'm going to be answering as I oftentimes do, and I'm going to be getting more. I get more and more of these questions. And so I'm going to be doing this as time goes on, feature them, and hopefully showing you these different examples of silk rugs, also of the various types and everything. It made it informational, but also a little bit entertaining. For those of you that are passionate about these types of handmade carpets, I try to make this channel as entertaining, as interesting as I possibly can. So I hope videos like these are of help to you. This channel, it's all about handmade carpets. If you have questions about the rugs, just like right here, the folks who have asked me, feel free to email me. The link is below in the description. Um, I'll show you in the video what type of pictures I need, as you saw here. And feel free to let us know. We'll get back as soon as we can. And we oftentimes will feature them in our videos as well. So to those of you that have sent me in the questions, I hope I was able to give you the answers you're looking for. Feel free to check with others. For the rest of you, I'm going to be coming back to you with many more videos to come. Until we see each other again, wishing you all the best. Take care. Bye-bye.